Why does Culver City Council member and Master of Ceremonies Albert Vera hate the city's bus drivers? Hi, I'm Angelo, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering homeless guy, and I'm here to get you acquainted with Albert Vera's record on traffic in Culver City. It's a city of 40,000 people within the county of Los Angeles, and it had complete streets for 1.6 miles of its downtown. So it had separate bike lanes, separate bus lanes, and private vehicle lanes. But Albert Vera was part of the conservative majority that voted to rip out the bike lanes, combine them in a bus bike lane, so now the cyclists have to ride in front of the bus, and leave 2 lanes for private vehicles for a few blocks of it instead of 1, claiming that this would alleviate traffic congestion. Yet, the congestion he won't address is that of bus riders. Bus riders frequently wait 20 to 40 minutes for a bus in Culver City, only to get stuck in private vehicle traffic. The lack of reliable bus service also means that people resort to paying the roughly $10,000 a year it costs to own and operate a car instead of taking the bus, further adding to the bad traffic. Call it the Albert Vera $10,000 a year car tax. So what's going on here? Albert Vera speaks unbidden and at length about the need for more police funding, which shows that he understands the relationship between employee pay and staffing. I've heard him speak unprompted, saying that the police are being unfairly vilified, which is, by the way, a popular notion I've heard in white supremacist circles that I used to monitor. He gets support from police mailers, which show very clear white supremacist messaging. And I'm going to put a link to a video where I broke that down. I've seen him do this in person, where he talks about police pay. Like, he just talks at length about the police's accomplishments and how many crimes they're stopping, suspects they're detaining. So let's get into what the issue is here and why I'm talking about bus drivers and police in this video. Well, starting pay for a police recruit is about $75,000 a year in Culver City. But starting pay for a bus driver is $40,000 a year, a little over $3,000 a month. And the requirements and application process are far more strenuous to be a bus driver than to be a police officer. Median rent in Culver City is $3,100 a month, or a little over $3,000 a month. In other words, if you're a bus driver, you can't afford to live in Culver City. And by the way, Albert Vera apparently doesn't want affordable housing in Culver City, at least not when you need a bike lane in front of it. As his record shows, he did not support affordable housing where a bike lane would have been added because a few parking spots would have been removed. So again, you want to live in Culver City, you need to pay up that $10,000 car tax that you're kicking up to auto executives and overpaid stockholders of these car companies. That's Albert Vera's Culver City. I've searched and can't find anything on Vera supporting better bus driver pay. He's been in the city council for years. I simply can't find it. Maybe he said it somewhere. It's hidden in some secret index or in some annal of some archive that I just cannot find. So why won't Vera advocate for better bus driver pay so that the city can hire more bus drivers and get more frequency? Why doesn't he want people to be able to catch a bus in Culver City from virtually anywhere and not have to wait more than 5 to 10 minutes? Why won't he advocate for more bus lanes so buses don't get stuck in traffic and people can reliably leave their cars at home and take the bus? When Vera's constituents make ignorant comments about how they don't see buses passing through the bus lanes, suggesting that they think the bus lanes should be changed to private vehicle lanes, why doesn't Vera educate them on their complete lack of forethought and curiosity into how it's his constituents' own silence on the need for better bus driver pay and Vera's own silence and that of his conservative peers that causes bus lanes to be empty for the lack of bus drivers, if you followed that one? Well, the big difference between advocating for more police funding and for more bus driver funding is that bus riders are predominantly people of low income, disproportionately people of color, such as black and brown people. They are Latino people, they are immigrants, they are our elders, they are the very young, they are parents with their kids, they're people with disabilities. In other words, they're the very people who need the bus the most to be reliable. That's who Albert Vera is choosing to neglect. That's who he's choosing to ignore when he speaks up for police pay. Like, just nobody asks him. It's like somebody talks to him. He's like, "Oh, did you just say the police should be paid more? I agree with you. That's a great idea you just brought to my attention." It's really, that's not far from reality. I've seen him at City Hall. I saw him at the Elk Lodge. He just brings this up like he's got police on the brain. So people who have to go through the humiliation of standing and waiting for a bus to get to work, doctor's appointments, and to see family are the ones that Culver Vera is choosing not to advocate for. So that's interesting. When it's the people who need it, people of color, immigrants, etc., everybody I just said, that's when Albert Vera is silent. Oh, okay. We're starting to get a picture here, aren't we? They're people who work strenuous jobs, who have to leave early for a bus, and they have to get home late because the bus doesn't run frequently. They're exhausted. They're sick. These are the people Albert Vera disrespects through the cowardice of not ever facing them, not ever riding the bus with them, not ever asking them what they think of the bus service and if they'd prefer more bus frequency. And the bus drivers themselves are disproportionately people of color. That's who he's inflicting this disrespect on. But if you're wealthy, if you own a home, if you own a business, if you drive a nice car, you're much more likely to have Albert Vera's ear. Culver City polled primarily these types of people and specifically did not poll bus riders or bus drivers to get their opinion on the downtown bus and bike lanes before they got ripped out when Albert Vera claimed, well, I'm just doing what the people want. Nor were people asked if they thought bus driver pay and not having to wait more than 10 minutes for a bus would help alleviate traffic, since people would know they could rely on the bus to be mobile. I don't think Albert Vera gives a damn one way or another what poor people, people of color, hardworking people who work 2 or 3 jobs, and bus riders think. Now, Albert Vera could protest and say, well, he acts nice enough to people of color and low-income people when he's face-to-face with them. That just shows it's hard to hate someone up close. But when he doesn't have to face them, he's perfectly willing to visit this cruelty and neglect on them. That doesn't make him not racist. It doesn't make him anti-racist. It certainly doesn't make him pro-black. What it makes him is a coward. It means he's not willing to inflict that cruelty to someone up close, but when he doesn't have to face the consequences, the social pressure of like the need to be nice to someone up close, to at least be polite to them, oh, then he's willing to visit all kinds of humiliating treatment to them. He doesn't care. You just have to wait for the bus. Like, he's not going to open his mouth and speak for better bus driver pay. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Albert Vera is enacting a policy of white supremacist segregation that shuts out people of color, our elders, people with disabilities, and people with low incomes from so much of Culver City life by making it too painful and degrading for them to participate in it. The question we should be asking is Councilmember Albert Vera deliberately advancing a white supremacist policy, or is white supremacy so fundamental to his identity that he advances it unconsciously? Like, he doesn't even have to think about it. It's just automatic with him. He's like, oh yeah, like, why would I help them? Like the bus riders, they're not normal people. Be normal. Be white, own a car. That's normal. Like, I'm just helping normal people. This, in my opinion, is a cruel joke, and Vera's supposed calls to ease traffic are just the sick punchline to it. Based on the type of constituents' comments he inspires, it seems like they're in lockstep with wanting to shut out people of color from Culver City life. Or, as one person commented on one of my videos, they hoped Culver City would become a sundown town again. For those who don't know, Culver City has a brutally racist history as a sundown town, meaning black people couldn't drive through it until the 60s without being harassed and beaten by police and vigilante citizens alike. And I'm not saying it was necessarily better for them after that. It's just that, like, that's when at least it wasn't like codified so strongly that they couldn't. So, am I saying that bus drivers should be paid $75,000 a year like the police? Absolutely not. Bus drivers operate heavy machinery, help hundreds if not thousands of people get to work and appointments, and deal with the public, including people who are often in need of many types of help, and they have to do it all with integrity. I'm saying bus drivers should be paid $80,000 a year. It's as if Vera is saying with this cruel agenda of his, oh, no, I don't want people to get around Culver City easily. I just want traffic to move faster. But if Vera was a studying or a books kind of guy, he'd learned that an extra lane is completely counterproductive to get private vehicle traffic moving. It's either empty, which induces faster, more dangerous driving, and it takes away amenities and space from pedestrians and cyclists, or it gets congested and makes it harder for non-drivers to cross the street. All while he treats the bus like punishment for being black, brown, disabled, and poor. I honestly think Albert Vera has never spent the 10 minutes that I've been making this video now thinking about this issue. He does not strike me as like a diligent, careful, like forethought kind of guy. It just, if you're asking, is it a deliberate type of racism or is it unconscious? I'd say yes. It's unconscious. It's ignorance. But he's willfully ignorant. Like, he chooses to remain ignorant day in and day out. He's been around. Like, he's seen a bit of life. He's been on the city council for a few years. He could crack open a book. He could watch some documentaries. He could listen to bus riders. He could study this stuff. He could see how cities around the world better take care of their bus system to get people moving. Like, apparently he just wants Culver City to lag behind a bunch of cities in the world, wants it to be unsafe, wants traffic to be worse and more deadly. He doesn't care. Like, why? Like, he's like, his main thing is like, wait, but were you able to get in your car and get to work faster? Which it's not even clear like he cares about getting to work faster for all the reasons I talked about. Traffic is not getting better in Culver City because he added an extra lane for a few blocks. We have employers like Apple and Sony here bringing thousands of employees. There are millions and millions of people in Southern California, and so many of them drive through Culver City and never stop in it. And if he wanted traffic to be better, you could make an interconnected bike network so people could bike safely, provide affordable housing so that people can live closer to their destinations and their jobs and job centers. And you could have better bus driver pay. So you could recruit more bus drivers, you get people into buses, you get them out of their cars, and you make it safe and easy to ride the bus. I had to walk a mile home with rollerblades on my back, which are heavy, and a heavy backpack because I couldn't take the bus home from Veterans Park in Culver City, or not the bus home, the mile to where my bike was locked up. Couldn't do it. And I knew, like, even though it says the bus is coming, I wasn't clear, like, where is the bus? Is it detoured in this part of Culver City or not? Because they were all detoured while the reorganizing, the reconfiguration of the bus and bike lanes was going on. So they weren't running on the Culver City streets in downtown, but it wasn't clear at all where they were running. Like, it was a mess even getting there. I had to take an LA Metro bus because I couldn't figure out, like, why aren't the buses showing up here? And then one Culver City bus drove by, but it wasn't picking me up where they said the detour would be. So not a concern for Albert Vera. I honestly think he has not thought about it even just for 15 minutes. Okay, back to my little script here. So let's keep the discussion going about Albert Vera's racist agenda for Culver City and vote this bum mooching off his daddy's fortune out of office on November 5th. And about his dad. Albert Vera Sr. was mayor of Culver City in the 90s when black and brown drivers were being constantly harassed by police. One driver called driving through Culver City a gauntlet. People of color would be stopped multiple times with differing rationales and let go with parting words like, "Today's your lucky day," when the cop couldn't find a reason to arrest them. Also, after those LAPD officers beat a defenseless black man, Rodney King, on video, Vera Sr. hired one of those cops, Timothy Wynn, to work for the Culver Police Department. I'd say the Vera family definitely knows their own. So vote Vera the bum out, and let's push for a humane, healthy, happy Culver City where everyone's welcome with progressive leadership on November 5th. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you all think.